Back at it again, and let's call this installment 6 on the TRX 450R. And we are going to start working on the transmission today. And we are going to install the new gears. So let's get set up at the bench and have at it. All right, we got a box of transmission parts. And I think what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to take everything out of the box. I'm going to clean it up real good. And I'm going to lay it out and see what we got, see where we stand. All right, everything's cleaned up. Let's take a look at a few things here. So, I looked everything over, and this stuff here looks like it's in really good shape. I don't see any of the shift forks have damage on them. That looks good. They all look good. No issues there. This gear is good. No problems there. Two shift fork pins are good. No worries there. This transmission gear looks good. Piece of hair on there. I don't see any issues with this at all. Looks good. This bearing looks good. This little guy here looks good too. Don't see any damage on that. This washer looks good. This washer is good. This gear here looks pretty good. I don't see anything wrong with this one. So far we're looking pretty good. The shift drum is perfect. I don't see any damage at all with that. This gear right here has damage. You can see right there. I got a replacement for that. No worries. This washer right here looks like it took a smash. Got to replace that, which I do have a washer for that. I'll leave that with that. This looks good here. Don't see any problems with that one. This looks good as well. There's a little bit of burrs on here, but I think I can stone that and make it nice. That washer's good as well. Now the gears on this. This looks good. See any problems with this? None of these gears look like they're damaged. Seems to be moving good. That looks good. I think we're in good shape here. This is good. Now, this one here, as you guys can remember, there's a lot of damage on this. This gear right here is in really rough shape. And the shaft itself, the main shaft, I can't get it to go all the way up to that. And the snap ring's broken. So, we need to replace that. Now, let's go over a few of the parts that I picked up. And this is the part number here. And this is, I don't know if this is an actual Honda part number, but I'll show it to you anyway. I think it is. And it's a 16-tooth gear. And this gear right here is brand new. And it is to replace this gear right here. So we're going to have to take this apart to put this gear on. So we have that gear all set. This is the gear that I picked up secondhand to replace this gear here that's damaged. And we have that gear to replace this one. And this is the new shaft, the new main shaft, which, as you can see, the splines are in great shape. And there's no damage on this anyway. And we have a couple more things in here. All right, here is that replacement for this. And that is the Honda part number. So we have that ready to go. And then there's the snap ring. which I don't know if you can see it very well in there. That's the snap ring. That's broken right here. And that is the Honda part number. All right, so let's get set up. And I'm gonna move this stuff out of the way, and we're gonna work on rebuilding this shaft. Let's start by getting the snap ring off. There we go. See how it's broken? Throw that in the trash. Let's see if we can get the gear off. I don't want to come off. All right, we got it off. And again, that gear is no good. And typically, I wouldn't pound on the end of the transmission shaft like that, but this shaft is no good, so no harm, no foul. We need to take this clip off to get this gear off. Hopefully we can slide this right off. All right, let's check this gear. Just get a look at it real quick. That looks good. Now I got to get this off of here, and it's caught on that burr right there, so we're gonna have to stone that down. It's hardened steel, so we can't use files, so I'm just gonna use a sandstone, smooth it over so I can get it off. These are the same stones I used to flatten the gasket surface, but they work really good on hardened steel too. Okay, now I'm able to slide it right off. All right. Junk pot. All right, let's start assembly. So I printed this out online from the manual, and this is the way the transmission is set up. And if I had done this job straight away, I wouldn't need a diagram because I would remember how it went. But I tore this transmission apart 2 months ago, and I just don't remember how it went together. I kind of hastily tore it all apart and just threw it in a box because I just wanted to get the motor torn down. But you really should cross-reference assembly drawings anyways when you're rebuilding motors. So I'm gonna use this as my guide, just letting you guys know that I'm not a super genius with a memory or anything. All right, let's start with the assembly of this. All right, so we put this spacer washer on first, and then the next one is the big gear. Actually, we put the spacer on first, then the gear. Then we put this on, this grooved washer, and then the snap ring. All right, she's in. Now, the next one is going to be the new gear that I just purchased. And that's going to go on. All right, snap rings on. And then the next thing is going to be the new washer that I got, because the other one, if you remember correctly, is smashed. So I bought a replacement. Now that goes on here. Then the next thing is this guy here. And then this gear. I'll set that aside for now. Now we will put the remaining gears on this one. All right, this is the sprocket shaft. So let's put the parts on this. And first piece to go in is this gear here. Next piece is this gear. First we got to put the collar on there. And then we slide the gear on. Actually, we need a thrust washer in there. There's the thrust washer. Then the gear. And another thrust washer. All right, that part of the transmission is done. Seems to be working good, so we'll set it over here, ready for assembly. All right, next up is the washer. Then we put in the bearing. And the gear. And then we have this set up here that's got to go in. And this locks into it. So it can't come out. Then the final gear goes on. I guess it don't. There we go. And then the last washer. And that's it. And then these gears lock together. This one slides back and forth. Locks them in. Everything looks good. All right, the transmission is complete, ready for reassembly. All right, let's move to the engine case. So the gears, transmission's all set, as you can see over here. It's all set, it's put together. We're all ready to pop this back. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna put the bearings in this side, this case half, and you know, we'll install the transmission and all that. Get this side all ready to go so that all we have to do is just drop the other case half on when we get it, and we'll be good to go. And I've already found another case half. It's on order. It should be here in a couple of days. I'll go over that when it comes in. All right, let's get going on this. Let's heat the case. All right, so it's really cold out here, and we're getting some sweat on the case half here. I guess I'll try to heat the whole thing, get the whole thing going. All right, let's drop her in. All right, we're in. All right, next I'd say let's do, we'll do this one here. We could drop them all in at the same time. That'd be nice. There's not a lot of space between them, so I think that we probably can. Grab the bearings. And these do not look directional, so we should just be able to drop it right in. There's that one. There's that one. They're all in, and we're good to go. All right, let's let this cool off, and then we'll install the screws and the keepers. Now we're going to put a little blue Loctite on these. Make sure they don't go anywhere. All right, those are all in. They look good. Take that as a win. Bearings are really smooth, which are very nice. All right, let's get the keepers in for this. All right. So we have the keeper and then the screw. So the keeper goes in there like that, and I'm going to put blue Loctite on this so she don't come off. We'll screw that in there. Same as the other one. Pop this in there like that. Blue Loctite. Now these have a brass washer on them. And the reason for it is that this is a true race engine. And I say that in the aspect of the transmission is separate from the transmission oil is separate from the engine oil, and that actually will prolong the engine if you get a lot of clutch debris and stuff, or if you blow a gear, it's not going to ruin your crank and your piston and all that, and vice versa. So it's a pretty cool setup that Honda has here. And I am just going to tighten these up. Right. Now the keeps are in, good to go. Clean those off. All right, now we can stop popping the transmission in. And we'll start with the gears. And this first one goes in here like this, with this spacer here, and it slides down inside that bearing. There we go. And the next set goes down, this set here goes down inside here, and this is for the clutch. And of course, we're going to have to pull this up so that we can get that in. There we go. All right, those are in. Now you want to put the shift drum in, and the shift drum goes in there like this. And then the shift forks go in. This one goes down inside of here, which I think I'll probably have to put this in after. This one goes down in here. And we have the small pin. Goes in there. There we go. All right, we got a couple more things in, and let's take a look at them. And these are the case half pins. I ordered 2 brand new ones, and we're gonna pop those in now. For these, we're gonna use Never Sees. And we're gonna use Never Sees because if you remember correctly, I had a really hard time getting this one out. I cleaned it up pretty good, so we should be in good shape, but I definitely wanna put Never Sees on here for both of these. And It'll keep this from corroding again. And these are nice brand new pins, and they should do us perfectly for what we want here. And these pins I bought from Podzilla. Well, actually, I think I might actually got these from eBay. Not 100% sure. I mean, I order parts from everywhere. Let me try to clean up the excess never sees, so it doesn't interfere with any gaskets. All right, that's good. We got those in. Now, one other thing I want to show you guys that I also got in the mail is I got this part number here, and what this is, I don't know if you can see it in there, is the oil reed assembly that got smashed by the connecting rod. And obviously this is no good, so this is the new one. And it's an original Honda part, and there's no aftermarkets on these, so you have to buy, you know, OEM. And this is what it looks like. Let's pop it out of there, see? And that's it right there. Nice and new. Same one. And this guy goes right here on this cavity. You can figure out how it goes. Like that. So she just drops in there like that, and that's it. So we have that piece now. I guess what we can do now is we could drop the crank in here. So let's get set up to do that. All right, here's the crank. Let's open her up, see what she looks like. Boy, that's a beauty. That's beautiful. All right, let's drop it in. And we shouldn't need to heat anything up because I'm pretty sure it should just slide right in. And we want to make sure that the connecting rod is where it's supposed to be. And it is. Let's just move this over just a tiny bit so we don't have any issues. There it is. It's in. All right. We'll get the engine set aside now because I'm still waiting on parts. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clean up the clutch housing. I'm just going to get everything clean and then have it set all out so that everything's ready to go when it's time. I won't record any of that. I'll come back when I'm done. So I'm cleaning up the clutch assembly. I just want to show you guys one thing here. And this bike right here has an O-ring seal in here that keeps this cover on. Well, keeps this cover from leaking, as you guys can see right there. And Honda puts this on here so that you can change the clutch on this bike without having to deal with a gasket. Let's say you're at the racetrack and your clutch is slipping, or you want to do an adjustment to your clutch. You can just tip the bike up on its side, pull this cover, do your clutch work, put the cover back on, and you're back on the track. And somebody had put Permatex on here, and I don't know why. Maybe because the O-ring needed to be replaced and they didn't replace it. I don't know. But if you look closely here, this is just something I wanted to point out. You got to be very careful using gasket maker and stuff, because this is a big glob of gasket maker right here that's inside the cover. Let me see if I can get it to pop off. See it? And there's really no reason to use it on this part of the clutch cover. And this stuff starts rolling around in your engine, and it can plug oil ports and all that. So you got to be very careful when you use gasket maker, and you want to use a very small amount when you actually use it. So just be careful, guys, when you're using this kind of stuff in place of a gasket. All right, the clutch is all cleaned up. So let's go over a few things here. Clutch cover, I got that all clean. That looks good. I got all the RTV off. I cleaned the groove out. It's all ready for a new O-ring. So this is good to go. Oh, we're gonna set this aside. Now, the rest of the clutch here, what you want to do is you want to inspect everything. I spent probably half an hour cleaning all this stuff up. So the actual cover itself for the clutch looks good. You know, I'm running my fingernail over this, and there is absolutely no grooves in that at all. It's not burnt. It looks pretty good. Actually looks excellent. That's a good usable part, and we will reuse that. We'll put that in the box. Next up is this side of the basket here. And, excuse me, we have this old style, this is the factory style clutch, and they always put the smaller one in there. Supposedly it's for ease of engagement, and they have these two wave washers in there. Let me just pop this off for a second, and you can see that that is in really good shape. It's not grooved. There's nothing wrong with it, and it's all cleaned up, and this is another good usable part. These washers, we'll just quickly look at them. They're not grooved out. They don't have excessive wear. Those are good to go. I think we can get one more use out of the nut lock. That should be no problem. And the nut itself looks good. All good stuff. We'll reuse it. The clutch screws that hold the clutch together, these all look good. I don't see any issue with any of the nuts and bolts. All good stuff. We'll reuse them. Clutch springs, they all look good. There's a spec on these that you measure to see if they're pre-compressed. They look good. We probably can still use them. The pusher, I don't see any excessive wear on that. The pancake bearing looks good. And the washer looks good. So all good usable stuff. Put that in the box. Now the gears. This is the Runway starter gear, and I don't see any wear on that at all. The surface in here is really nice. This surface here looks good. The teeth all look good. The face looks good. Everything looks good. Good usable part. This is the bearing that it slides on. And again, I don't see any wear here. There's nothing catching my fingernail. The bearing looks good. You just got to oil it up and put it back in. There's another gear for the starter. And again, I don't see any wear on that gear. The gear looks good. The shaft looks good. We'll reuse that. Clutch bolt that holds the basket on. That looks fine. It's another bearing. This is the one-way clutch bearing. This looks good. I don't see any damage on that. We'll reuse that. There's another gear for the starter assembly. I don't see any damage on that, any wear. This one actually has a timing mark. I think you time this with the balancer. So this looks good. No issues with that. I did order a new balancer, and it's on its way. I bought the balancer from the same person I bought the other case half from. They won't be here for another few days, but I'll go over those when they come in. This gear looks good. I don't see any wear on it. None of the teeth are damaged. It's a good part. Here's a one-way clutch. And I don't see any issues with this either. Let's try the one-way clutch and see if it works. Let's see how she works. Make sure everything's working okay. So it spins one way, and it doesn't spin the other. So the one-way clutch is good. Clutch cable lever looks good. And I think I got this. I think the case half that I bought is coming with this, but we'll revisit that just to make sure. But this is a good part, and there's nothing wrong with it. So the springs are probably okay. Now this is the part that I want to go over. So let's take a look at these friction plates. I shouldn't say the friction plates. These are the steel plates that go in between, and this has a groove in it. I don't know if you can see it. But there's a little bit of a groove inside of this thing. And if you kind of look at it, you can see check marks. Let me find one that looks a little better. I don't know if you guys can. I really don't know if the camera's picking it up, but you can see check marks on these plates, and they look a little brown. They should be silver, and they look a little brown, like maybe they've been overheated. That one there looks pretty bad. You can see it, how brown it looks. These things definitely have check marks in them, and they're pretty burnt. I could probably throw this clutch back in and be okay with it because I'm flipping it and let someone else worry about it later down the road. But this one here, you can really see it. See those check marks on there? I don't know if it's picking them up, but bike needs a new clutch. So I'm going to order a new clutch. The friction plates, they don't look too bad, but we're going to order a new clutch while we're at it. I think the springs are good. I'll check them with the verniers to make sure they're still in spec. If they are, we'll reuse them. Now, the clutch basket. Let's move this out of the way. The clutch basket. It looks pretty good, other than the fact that it is massively grooved. And if you could see those right there. Let me get the light. Bring the light closer. I mean, you can see how deep those are grooved. I mean, look at that. They're beyond the point of simply filing them to make them smoother. This is gonna create clutch engagement issues. I'm probably gonna replace the basket as well. Like I said, this clutch is probably usable for someone who doesn't care. But I'm gonna sell this bike to somebody, and I'm gonna ask top dollar for it, and they're gonna have the peace of mind that this isn't gonna give them problems in the future. So I'm gonna order a new basket as well. All right, so here's the stator and the pickup. When I first took this out of the motor, it was covered in bronze and brass. I don't want to say brass, bronze and other metal debris from when the crankshaft let go. I think the crank was letting go slowly over time, and the debris was sticking to the magnets and stuff in here, and it was pretty bad. So I've cleaned it out really good with WD-40 and compressed air, as you can see here from the stains on here. I don't really want to use brake clean on this, because I don't know if it'll eat away at any of the insulation that it has on here. I know WD-40 won't. So, and it's also a pretty good cleaning agent, believe it or not. So I went with that, and I think that'll be just fine for what we need. And here's our cover and the stator. And I put all the screws back where they belong, and I always do that because it just makes it easier for assembly. I'm not digging through boxes looking for stuff, and I'm not putting the wrong screw in the wrong spot. Let's pop the stator on. Let's get this done. And I'm pretty sure we're going like this. So that's going in there. That's going down there. And we're popping this on like that. Let's pop the screws in. Get them lined up. I have this guy here that's got to go down in here to protect the wires from getting hit. Then the pickup's got to go on. That should do it. I think we're in good shape now. That's all set up now. All cleaned up. Grab a Q-tip and get some of the debris out of there. So I think we're in good shape now. I don't see any issues with anything going on here. Let's just give this a little bit of a... All right, I think we've made some good progress today. So I think at this point, what we're gonna do is call this video. And we got a lot done today. And we'll get a lot more done when the rest of the parts come in. We'll start assembling, which will be nice. So the Stator is all set now. This cover is absolutely ready to go on. We'll just have to pop a gasket on it. So we're gonna go set this aside. And what we found out today was that I need a clutch assembly and I'm gonna need a basket. I could use this basket, I mean honestly, but I'm gonna look and see if I can find another one. If I can't find one cheap enough, I'll reuse it. But at this point here, we definitely need a clutch assembly, so I'm definitely ordering that. And I'll look and see if I can find a cheap basket. If I can, I'll replace it. If not, I'll just go with it. I think the basket will be fine. For casual use, no one's really gonna notice it. But if someone's gonna race and they really want that clutch to work at top-notch performance, then we'll need a basket. But again, I'll look and see if I can find a basket. But clutch is definitely getting ordered. The engine itself, let me pull this back over here. This is all set and all ready to go. I'm pretty excited how well it came out. It looks really good. It came out nice. It looks good. We have no issues with it. The crank spins really nice. This motor is going to be really tight and it's going to be beautiful when it's done. Transmission's working great. Everything looks good in here. I don't see any issues. It's all spinning nice. It has the new gears installed. I have the reed assembly in right here. I put the new alignment pins in. And the only thing this thing needs is this other half. So this thing here is all set and we're all ready to go. So I'm gonna end the video here. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button so you can see me finish up this build. I don't know how many more videos there'll be in this installment, but I'm sure there's gonna be a few more anyway. Like I said, I'm just gonna wait on the rest of those parts that I have ordered. They should be here in a couple of days, and then we can get back to finishing off the blower end of this motor and popping it back into frame, and then we'll start at the top end. But for now, I'm going to go on the internet and I'm going to see if I can order up a nice clutch assembly for this and see if I can't find a relatively reasonable basket. So for now, I'm gonna call it, and I want to thank you guys for watching, subscribing, like, share, and I will see you guys in the next video.